In a brand new year here in Times Square, New York City, the focal point of the brand new year of 1976. Happy New Year's Rockin' Eve!
It's The Secret Show, filmed in front of a live studio audience. With your
Starring.
host. We did it again.
Yeah, we always talk over each other.
Yep.
Hey, you look spiffy.
You look amazing.
We are wearing our New Year's best, even if it's at the recording of this particular show, not New Year's Eve.
This is actually my New Year's second best, believe it or not. This is what I would wear to like a wedding. Because I get hot, so the jacket would come off. Hopefully, I won't be sweating too much during the show. But the jacket would come off, and then here I am, stuck with a tie, bow tie, and cummerbund.
Oh, cummerbund! Can you kind of stand up so we can see that?
Sure.
What's on it?
Just a pattern. Pattern matches the bow tie.
Very lovely.
Yeah.
You've gone all out for Flat Earth New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're wearing a black sequin plunging neckline dress. It's beautiful.
Well, you know, New Year's Eve would be the one time that I would wear something like this. It's not what I wear to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Hey, but we've got so much to talk about and so much to do on this secret show. It's episode number 48 of Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, and we've got, let me tell you, we've got dangerous trained wild animals who are going to do a special act for you. That's later on. We've got your Q&A, and so you can sign into Google Plus and put a question in by clicking on the Rubik's Cube symbol thing. And we've got a holiday toast coming up. We're going to drop the ball, New Year's Eve style, a la Dick Clark and all the other people who've done that through the years in Times Square. And we're going to talk about our predictions for 2016, New Year's predictions pertaining to the flat Earth.
Yep.
I think we should start by talking about all the things that have happened in the news. Semi-mainstream media seems to have picked up on flat Earth the past couple of days, and they've been hitting it hard. And some of the things that they've been talking about are a bit worrisome and some are more interesting. Do you want to start?
Sure, because I have the inside scoop on all that stuff. If anyone wants to, because now it used to be, I joked that I would go into, I didn't joke, actually it happens. I would go into YouTube and I would type in flat Earth and set the filter to today, 24 hours, and a lot of stuff will come up. But now I have to go into any search engine, be it, Google or Yahoo or Bing or take your pick, and type in flat Earth and see what shows up in the news. Because, things seep in every once in a while, like that Fortune magazine article that you and I talked about, the Newsweek article, which featured Crow. And over the last 24, 48 hours, some really, really interesting things have happened. The first two stories that came out were from the Daily Express and the Inquisitor, and I think both of those are out of England, out of the UK, and they were talking about kind of like wait, what is this? They're saying why is this theory happening? Why are people talking about this? And they called it madcap, which was really, really great. And they featured enclosedworld.com, which was fantastic. They also mentioned Eric Dubay in one of the articles, and it was great. So when you type in flat Earth into any search engine to hit news, flat Earth comes up as a serious topic right off the bat, which is fantastic. It's not linked to like climate change and crazy people, like anything crazy has got to be flat Earth. It's linked to it, so it's fantastic.
Well, they do use the word madcap, and some would say that means literally insane and crazy. But in old Hollywood movies, they would say she was a madcap woman, meaning she just got something under her skin and then had to go kind of a little bit crazy. But she wasn't a crazy person. She just had this little wild idea, like a wild hair, as that expression goes.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. It could have been worse. They're still trying to, in some way, paint us as being crazy, but they've been doing that since the first time flat Earth theory ever came out, way before we graced Earth's surface.
I like the term madcap because one, it's very it's dated, it's very old. My favorite instance of madcap was Val Kilmer using it in the movie Tombstone with Kurt Russell, and he was actually calling Billy Bob Thornton, his character, you madcap, and it was great. He played Doc Holliday, so everyone wants to look it up. Fantastic movie, Tombstone, blisteringly good cast. So yeah, check it out.
All right. So the
By the way,
madcap.
you haven't commented on my fireworks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Those fireworks for New Year's are pretty fantastic. Now, I know you have a background in making and selling fireworks when you were very young on Whidbey Island,
Yes.
right off Seattle in Washington.
Yep.
And is that a fireworks display that at one time you created?
No, all my displays that were recorded, and thank goodness that most of them weren't because they were dumb and dangerous, definitely not safe and sane, were recorded on VHS tape, so they weren't nearly as high res. These are not computer generated fireworks. This is actually a 3 hour long fireworks show back east, and and somebody filmed it in high def, and so that's what I'm running. And
3 hour long fireworks show.
oh
When
yeah,
I was a kid, fireworks shows were pretty short.
usually less than 45 minutes. But some shows can go longer. Mine went longer just because I was down on the ground and taking my time, and I always lit off my own stuff. So, but this one's
hold your hands up.
why?
Let me see your fingers. Do you still have them?
My fingers? Yes. Luckily, yeah. There's no nubs. Yeah. Pointer and thumb pinky. That's what I got.
Did your mom just say to you when you were a kid that you're going to blow your fingers off or put an eye out?
No, they were very supportive of my fireworks stuff because it was a creative outlet for me. Fireworks it can be very, very creative. It's light and fire and explosions in the sky. So I really dug it, and I was encouraged. I was pushed into it as heavy as possible. So yeah.
All right, so we've got the madcap story.
Oh yeah, the other story. I'm
Flat
sorry.
Earth made it into the news. I think. What I've got one of them. What do you have?
Well, I defer to the lady.
Well, we can talk about it together, I guess. And it's the one that came out today, I believe, in the Hamilton Spectator, and that's a periodical online as well, out of Ontario, Canada. And it reads, whether elaborate prank or loony politics. They always use these words like madcap, loony about Flat Earth. Someone left the center on Barton, which I guess is an area, with an early present docked at their doorstep on Christmas Eve. And this all ties into Jaron of Jaronism and Glowbusters. What happened was there was a boat on a trailer with wheels left, and it had some tinfoil kind of wrapped around part of it, and some words on it. It said glowbusters.com, Jaronism. They say red handprint, which would be read as by the public as a bloody handprint, was on there. And, they said there was no bomb on it and that sort of thing. I find it to be a bit, okay, at first I thought it was cool. Oh, look, Flat Earth, somebody did this in Canada, sort of paying tribute to Jaron and, kind of to try to get Flat Earth in the mainstream eyes in this mall parking lot, around Christmas time when many people will see it. And then I thought, well, why, there's something about it that makes me worry that it was put there as a way to attempt to start laying a trail that would eventually lead to Flat Earth being labeled as dangerous because they say there was no bomb, that kind of thing. What do you think? Is this positive or negative?
I think any publicity at this point is positive because we're talking about Flat Earth here. So getting into Ebony Avenue, which is why you and I spoke about how get any celebrity, I don't care if they're A list, B list, C list, to talk about it either positively or negatively. Again, which I think is a great trap, which is you say, get any celebrity to say, "Oh, Flat Earth is ridiculous. Am I right?" And just let them tweet that and see what happens. Because again, there's so many people that do not know about the topic. But when it comes to this boat, it's very, very interesting because I actually got a chance to talk to Jaron this morning. And he said that a guy had spoken with him several months ago. This guy, the guy that owns this boat, no question, that had said, "Oh yeah, I painted all this sort of stuff and left it on a side road next to like a little minor highway for people to see as they drove by." Well, apparently the guy got bored with whatever he was doing and decided to put it into like a mall parking lot. And Canada treats it a little different than like Americans. Americans would have, they would have had a bomb squad out there and they wouldn't have known what to make of it. But the story was really interesting because again, there's no hate crimes tied to it. There's no weird. The dialogue is strange, but it's not tied to any ethnic group. So even the police were like, "Yeah, we're just going to call the owner and see if we can get it removed." And Jaron never got a call from anybody from the Canadian authorities. Why would he? He's out in California. So I think it was an enthusiastic fan that got involved here. Now, why the story was actually run and some of the numbers, you saw some of the numerology stuff that was tied with that, right?
Yes, explain that. And I do want to say that they had some good things like Jeranism's tagline, "Open your mind, there's truth inside." But they also put his the person who spray painted all this put Jaren's they put the wrong domain name for the website for Jaren on there, which led to some totally erroneous thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to think about it. I'm hoping. Maybe being involved in conspiracy as we are, I tend to worry sometimes, like, is this bad? Is this good? Shall I promote this as being any mention of flat earth is good? Or could this be just the beginning of a way that they try to say that flat earth is tied with terrorism? Kind of like Matt Powerland said that, they've weaponized flat earth.
And that will be one of the prediction things that we're going to go over. But I mean, it's possible. I mean, there was some numerology was tied to this, like in the article when they were discussing my website and they were bringing up Eric. They were really specific to bring up that Eric was 33 years old, or at least that's what he lives in on his website. Didn't bring up my age. He obviously didn't contact Eric or myself before they printed the article. And in Jeranism's article, they brought up this weird statistic that 33%. Oh, geez, I'm not going to be able to do it justice. 33% of the population still believe in, it's a Bible literalist thing, but I'm going to butcher it. So you'll have to look up the article for yourself. But the thumbnail, the link to Jaren's video was Jaren's 13th video.
Yeah, but it was about concave Earth, which is bad too.
Yeah.
Because then people will go watch that maybe, and it's like they'll get all confused. So the story had so much disinformation and misinformation and confusion in it.
Yeah.
And it worried me. And I'm going to show right now the picture of the boat for those who haven't seen it. I'll have to cover my face. Here we go.
Don't do that. That's a crime in itself.
Okay, wait, there it is. I have to be talking for the camera to flip to me so you can see the boat right there and the puzzled bystanders. So kind of interesting,
Yeah, but again, Jaren didn't do this.
No.
This either it was one of Jaren's fans, or it was somebody, or it was a disinfo thing. But even the saying is true, and that is even bad publicity can be good publicity. In this case, it's generating attention. So the first 4 stories now on flat Earth are making you look at it. It's not like it completely dismisses it. You shouldn't look at flat Earth because, as you know, it's hard to talk about it without talking about it. I'm sorry, it's hard not to talk about it, like Neil deGrasse Tyson coming on and saying, I don't want to even talk about flat Earth. Well, you're talking about it now on camera. So
I just hope we don't get tied to terrorism. That's all I've got to say. I think we all have to keep our eye out. And when we see stories like this come across, look at them, think about maybe that angle being played eventually, and then decide whether or not you want to share it on your wall or if you're using social media, Facebook or something like that. Just a thought. Could be absolutely nothing. Better safe than sorry, right?
Agreed.
All right. Any other mainstream stuff that we've got to share?
No, those were the big 4.
All right. Well, we've got Q&A. We've got some emails. Which one should we tackle first? Maybe go to Q&A because it's live people and the email is people who've written in over the past week.
Sure.
Let's do it. First up, we've got from Globebusters, coincidentally enough. And I believe this is Bob because Bob's sort of taken over at the helm of Globebusters. I think this is Bob Xanadu writing. Jaren and I were not amused with the boat propaganda. Jesse Spots was right about it being dangerous in that it gives people ideas about linking flat Earth to terrorism.
And you spoke with Jesse.
Yes, Jesse and I spoke about it. He's done a video on it. He was a bit worried about that. So,
but nobody talked to him from that article.
Oh, no, he as well wasn't spoke to. Just like the article you're speaking of, Eric Dubé, I don't know, but probably was not interviewed for that article. You were not interviewed for that article. Jaren was not interviewed for this boat thing, and Jesse wasn't interviewed for what was mentioned about Jesse. So they're just writing things based on casually glancing at the various flat Earth material and getting half of it wrong on purpose or not. We don't know. Next up is the best line in Tombstone, movie you were speaking about earlier, was when Val Kilmer playing Doc Holliday said, "I'm your Huckleberry."
I'm your Huckleberry. Very, yeah, actually, that's the best line in the movie, no question. Val Kilmer just, I know he didn't do a lot of stuff in his later, with later movies, but he just crushed that role. It was wonderful to watch him.
Insanity has a smiley face and says, "You guys are great. We think you're great too." Up next, David Quintana says, "We should put it out there that our New Year's resolution is a revolutionary movement on the entire planet." Well, I'd change that to plain. And by revolution, do we mean a peaceful one? That's what I would go with.
There you go.
So thank you, David. Rob Morrill is hearkening back to when we opened up originally and you were showing your fingers because I asked to see if you had all your digits. And he said, "Were those Illuminati hand signs that you were making, Mark?"
No, they were not. Although if I was crippled in some way, I would be naturally flashing signs. No. Got all 10 fingers. That's all I'm saying. My family's very, very happy that's the case.
You've been asked if you got hired as a dishwasher at the Stanley Hotel. A dishwasher doesn't wear that.
I know. I did when I was looking in the mirror when I first put this on. Yes, I do look like a waiter at a high-end place. They're absolutely right. But that's when you take off the jacket, that's what you look like.
Right. So. I think all men look nice in tuxedo wear. You instantly look, in the way they say it in the UK, smart. But then dapper. Regular jeans and a t-shirt as well. So whatever. And women look really good in tuxedos too. They do. Some women can pull it off. Jason Campbell asks, "Are there any plans for new clues, Mark, in 2016?
Yes. But other than that, we'll say. I mean, I'm gonna make some videos. They're not gonna be clues as much as they're gonna be breakdowns of simpler concepts, because I'm trying to make it even more easily digestible. I knew the clues were easy to digest, but I'm going to try to come up with something that's even more transparent and more, to where anybody, you could just show it to anybody. I'm trying to come up with like a video that's like less than 10 minutes long that you can show anybody, and they'll say, "Wow, I kind of get it. I still think it's crap, but I kind of get it," to where they can absorb it quicker than what we have out there now.
From Tribulation Now, happy flat 2016 year to all, which is nice. All right, up next, we've got from Teresa Gordon. "I wonder what lies or fake pics Mark Kelly, the astronaut, is coming back with from his year-long stay on the ISS set. What do you guys think?" Yeah, he's got that camera with the long lens I've seen in some pictures.
Yeah, he's done really crap. What can he take? What can he take anyway? That hasn't been shot. Supposedly,
he'll take pictures of the things we already saw and pictures of fake space that we've already seen.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, the moon. I mean, honestly, he doesn't have to do much, especially since that.
No, wait, you said it right. He doesn't have to do much. Period.
He doesn't, he doesn't, because that supposed shot that was taken by a lunar probe just recently, and they always said, "Oh, it's a composite," but it's from the moon. That shot will do, will do a lot for them, because it's so crystal clear and it shows the moon below, and it's just a bunch of crap. But he doesn't have to do much because of that.
Another happy flat 2016 from Eric Blair. And this is from Tribulation Now, who says, Patheos, I hope I'm saying that right, Patheos, a leftist religion site, just today wrote, "Does Bible teach flat earth?" And again, they use Isaiah 40:22 wrong about the circle of the earth, probably making it mean that it's a ball as opposed to a flat circle. Yeah. Boy, that particular, that Isaiah has been misrepresented so many times.
Agreed. Again, anyone that wants to look into chapter and verse, please go to Rob Skiva's website, testingtheglobe.com, and he'll break it down, literally everything you would ever want to know about how the Bible refers to, and we're talking about the Christian side, not any other religion, how it refers to the flat earth, and it's all great. It's all groovy.
Martin Leedkey from Flat Earth British says, "If all the plane was like us flat earth people, wow, what a place that would be. Love you guys." Love you too, Martin.
Yay.
Up next from Aaron. Aaron, I like when you said yay. So cute.
Yay.
Aaron Eddie H. Yo. Okay, on
Okay.
that name. Says 2016, use the same sigil magic techniques the powers that be use against us and insert a meme phrase into the social media collective consciousness. There's no curvature. Well, there's no curvature. Math Powerland pretty much summed that up in the interview that I did with him on my channel. That's pretty much what it's all about in order to get it across to the general public. And when you do your shorter video that you're going to come up with, I'm sure that's going to be a part of it, because that's just a great way to get it across to the average person who can figure that out for themselves free if they have the eyes to see. That's key, because you can show it to many people clearly and they won't see it.
Yeah.
Alex Rubio here on the Secret Show on Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes says Orion Project Van Allen belts. Reason they are saying now it's, quote, harder to pass the belts because they are going to be there longer. What? So now the belts extend past the moon? They'll just come up with whatever they need to.
Why would they be there longer? In fact, but more than that, why not explain that when you're telling people that you've got to, in fact, not just longer, supposedly long enough that the first trips of Orion, which is canceled now anyway, which we'll get into in a second, because it's one of my predictions, it already happened, is that the first capsule supposedly going to be unmanned, because it's like, oh, we could kill people that way. And again, why would you have to do that? You've done 10 missions, round trips already through these belts, if they existed, and nobody had a problem at all. So no, that's ridiculous.
Up next, Happy New Year, Patricia and Mark. Blessings from J Biz. And there's a new show coming up, and Kathy reminds me of this from Tribulation Now. And she writes, can you mention the new Flat Earth show on Truth Frequency Radio? Kathy is the wing woman, the answer to Jonathan, your wingman, with host Zen Garcia. The show is called Secrets Revealed, and it's Saturdays at 3 p.m. So she's done 3 shows so far. So TFR, Truth Frequency Radio, Zen Garcia, and wing woman Kathy. And thanks, Tribulation Now, and good luck with that show. And I didn't know it existed, and now we all do, so I'm going to check it out.
I didn't know that it existed.
Great to have more women involved.
I'm on that network. How did I not know this? Nobody told me about this. I'm always...
I listen to you on that network.
You listen
and
to me on that.
Jaron and everybody. So I've misplaced something important, so I'm looking for that.
All right.
You're not there to cover me because you had left.
Oh, no.
My
I'm here.
phone. Where did I put it?
Well, no,
All
I
right.
can't see you if you leave anyway.
Oh.
So.
All right. I need my phone, and I put it. Oh, I found it.
You would distract me with your looks.
Glamorous, sparkly dress.
Exactly. I don't think I can even look at you directly, which is why I've got the fireworks going on in the back.
Kind of like the sun.
Yeah. Don't tempt people with that one.
I'm joking.
Egyptian queen.
No, not Egypt. Eric Blair writes, will we see a show with you two in 2016 like Chris Gio and Cherie on the same screen? Yes, I went there, says Eric Blair. That would be really fun if we did that.
Oh, side by side?
Together. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll happen.
You do?
Yeah.
Is that one of your New Year's predictions?
No, I think it'll happen. I don't think there's a prediction involved there. I think eventually we'll end up doing a show in the same room.
Wow. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
We will.
We'll make it happen if somebody that doesn't make it happen for us, if that makes any sense. I'm looking up something on my phone to get the...
Was that you fishing for producers?
Well, I don't know. Sure.
Hey, producers out there, Patricia and I'd like to do a show together.
Yeah. I mean, I love doing this. It's what I live for. It's what I do for free. So the more the merrier.
Yeah, I know.
It's fun. It's fun and it's interesting, and I learn a lot, and I feel a connection with Flat Earth people, and it causes a lot of issues with the shill name calling and all of that blah blah blah, but it doesn't bother me anymore.
No, I want
people
to. In fact, I welcome people that are tearing, going after Flat Earth, because again, as you and I spoke about in the past, every time they do, it's just another person that's getting it in their head.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time before it gets resolved. And I love actually watching, people quit and then come back to it. It's like, I'm done with Flat Earth. I'm through it. They walk out of the room. 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, it's like they're back on making more flat Earth videos because they can't stand it. Because once you've done it, what else is there?
Yeah, this is true. And
So-
like you say, once it gets in your head, it's like a BB in a paint can.
Marble.
Oh, they have
BB in
marbles
some
in paint
cases.
cans, or do they have BB?
They sometimes use marbles, actual marbles, and sometimes they use ball bearings. So it really
All
depends.
right. Okay. It's like a round object in a paint can made of metal or glass.
Yes.
That saying just doesn't roll off the tongue the same way.
Marble in a paint can?
Well, no, a round object made of metal or
Round, a
glass.
spherical object. Spherical metallic object.
need to
bouncing
avoid the
in
word
inside of another
sphere.
metallic container. Whatever.
The word sphere stricken from the vocabulary of all flat earthers
Stricken
in 2016.
English language.
I command it. GeoShifter writes, have you seen the recent video with Santos Bonacci? If so, any thoughts about it? Happy New Year for everyone, and thanks for all the shows. And GeoShifter, thanks for all you do. Big fan here. I'm a subscriber and share your videos. Well, I have seen the video with Santos Bonacci, and Santos Bonacci is a Facebook friend of mine, and he is going to be on my show. I'm very excited. And that is going to be January 5th, 2016 at 5 p.m. Central Time. 1-5 at 5 Central Time. So look out for that one. Should be great.
Cool.
Recent flat earth convert. Fascinating man on many levels as well as that.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's great. Again, another guy with another big faction.
Yeah. Coming into flat earth. Teresa Gordon writes, living in Houston area. We both live in Houston, although we've never met. In fact, we should, it's weird. We should get together. I don't really know anybody here who's into flat earth. Why haven't we, Teresa? Anyway, living in Houston area, I'm noticing all the Johnson Space Center commercials. They've kicked them way up, and also way more TV shows too. They're running scared and spending lots of money doing it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's a story I've been commenting on various people's channels. The NASA's pretty much running a space story every single day, if they can. It was before, it was like once a month. It was every 2 weeks. And it was every week. Now it's every day. They have to. It's the only move they've got, other than possibly linking flat Earth to terrorism, which we'll get into.
Gosh,
yeah, I know it's not thrilled about it, but you know, eventually they're going to have to mudsling, because trying to promote NASA, especially after the Orion cancellation, which we'll get into, is they're in tough shape right now. They recently got their $20 billion budget approved. And then the first thing they do out of the gate is they cancel their biggest ticket item. Where's that money going now? So,
all right. Rob Morrill wishes Amir a happy new year, which is, we're using this channel with Q&A to wish other people happy new year. Hey, why not? We're a conduit for
seriously,
flat earthers. Yeah, why not? Keith O.B. says all the best in the flat new year. Nigel Bamford writes, the Daily Express is a rag which is read by conservative voting half-wits. I like how clearly he stated that.
good. They're still covering it.
Yeah.
I don't care if Variety Magazine and Cosmopolitan cover it, as long as they're covering it. But thank you.
Cosmopolitan magazine is the kind of magazine that would suggest a woman wear this dress to, I don't know, go to a laundromat and do some laundry, or, any grocery store. That magazine's always got the most scantily clad women on. And I'm not scantily clad. This is like below the knee. But wearing the most sexy outfits just, to go, I don't know, do nothing.
Yeah, that and 10 secret tricks to spice up your love life.
Yeah.
Every single issue. Not that I read it. I'm just saying I see it
Right.
every once in a while at the
Well,
grocery
you
store.
subscribe. You don't read, but you subscribe.
Thanks. Did you see that article about George Clooney? It was fascinating. That man, I don't know if there's anything he can't do. Anyway.
Hardened Power, appropriate name to be. Yes, Hardened Power.
Hardened Power.
Seriously, I didn't make it up. Hardened Power writes, I'm a recent flathead and I'm researching like crazy. I suspect that if a firmament dome exists and the powers that be know about it, it might explain their strange obsession with global warming. I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I suppose. But global warming is going to have to take a whole new context.
Global warming doesn't exist, and flat Earth really pretty much is. I don't know.
but dome
Nail in
warming.
that coffin.
dome or enclosed system warming, that is a whole nother ballgame. But then you're
Right.
talking about, part of an automated system. So is
Well, it
anything
could be something there that they need to keep in place, and that's why they've been doing the chemtrails, possibly
maybe,
to keep the dome solid or whatever. The
maybe
theories, of
I don't know,
course.
maybe
Right. For those who believe there's a dome. For those who don't,
I
ignore
do,
that. I know you do.
and you not as much.
No, I do. I actually
You
do.
gotta be more neutral.
No, I don't really. Even if, okay, I'm not a journalist and I have this show where I interview people, but I interview all different people with different opinions, and I'm interested in their opinions. And I'm open to the idea there's a dome. There's a lot of evidence in religious texts, and people have done experiments. But, I'm open minded, and I'm thinking that there could be more land and a dome. And you're putting on some lip balm.
I am. It's not lip gloss. The I'm going to steal that Neil deGrasse Tyson line from that thing that was in the front of one of my videos, where he said, "Well, yeah, I mean, I host a talk show, so therefore, technically, I am a journalist. So don't sell yourself short." Right now, you are doing some journalism work, and just because it's not on a major media stream doesn't mean it isn't there.
All right. I don't know. I'd rather not have the journalist title.
Yeah,
That
but
way I'd be able to say my
you're not a
opinion.
bought and sold journalist. You're not a news reader. There's a difference. I don't think there's very many journalists, quote unquote. I hate people that do this. Journalists left in the world. They're all news readers. How many
Right.
people actually go out and do stories on their own? I mean, yeah, there were some really high profile people that did stories on their own back in the day, like Barbara Walters. I think she did some great stories back in the day. Some of the guys from 60 Minutes, I think they did some great stories. Anderson Cooper, not really a journalist. No.
No.
He started out as a reality show host.
And still is a reality show host.
And
He
still is a
covers
reality
all-
show host on a secret reality show.
Exactly. Called Our Life, that's being rammed down our throats that we refuse to accept. Okay.
That's kind of a working title. We'll have to come up with something better than that. But that's okay.
The Flat Earth Survival Guide writes, there are thousands and thousands of Google Scholar search results for satellites. I believe there are low orbit satellites, but no space satellites. While these articles are hard to decipher, there must be some of these in low orbit. What is your opinion? And I know your opinion, and I know mine. You go first.
I don't trust satellites at all. How can I? And you've heard me mention it many times, and that is, if we are faking the production of any interior shots on the ISS, the International Space Station. We're faking those pictures with the astronauts floating around in their khakis and their polo shirts and their socks. Then how can I trust any satellites at all? Show me more pictures of satellites taking pictures of other satellites. If every satellite should have a camera on it, there should be a lot of them, and we're not seeing them. It's going to go along, and this is kind of a hint in that video I'm going to be making here. The operative word being where. Where are all the pictures showing satellites from anything else that's in space? Like when the ISS is doing a time-lapse run over the United States or the world, there should be satellites all over the place, zipping here and there, some moving slow, some moving faster. Should be a lot of parallax scrolling when it comes to satellites, and they aren't there.
Some are big, some are small. Some could say the small ones couldn't have a camera on them. But
they should be reflecting. We all know they're all, at the very least, very, very shiny, made of very shiny reflective material. Why are the Earth should be bristling, should be shining like a Christmas tree.
We should have video of satellites being not just put in a rocket and launched up, where that could be all faked. The satellite actually being ejected, or I've heard they even throw them out. Where's the video of that happening if it's a human doing it? Or how do they get out of the I know I'm talking about fairy tales, but let's pretend now. How do they get out of the rocket into the orbit? Something shoots them out? Or a person throws them out? I've heard both.
The rocket usually ejects them. And take it with a grain of salt, because we do not have a lot of footage.
The logistics involved with that being at the right place and putting it in the right place and it moving and Earth moving, and no. I'm sorry.
Agreed.
I don't think so.
I completely agree with you.
All right. But hey, prove me wrong. I'm totally ready, willing, and able to say I was wrong about everything. I just need to see the facts.
Show me a consensus. Something that actually gives an accurate census of how many satellites are even up there, because we've heard anything anywhere from what, 3,000 to 20,000.
And why don't they know?
Why?
How
Yeah. Why don't
many
they know? Yeah.
groups or companies actually launch satellites?
Yeah.
How many?
Exactly. How many worldwide? We
Right.
don't. We don't know.
All right. So what we would need to find out is the name of all of those, and those, and it's got a number like less than 10, right? You think about it. Who's
maybe.
sending rockets into space?
Yeah, maybe. Well, no, there's quite a few countries with space programs, but I think
But are they putting satellites up there?
Exactly. It doesn't matter. You're not going to find a lot of pictures of anything. Again, why don't? And the other thing I mentioned, the meteor shower problem with satellites, which is when a meteor shower comes, that's going into the atmosphere, supposedly from outer space, why isn't anybody worried about their satellites? If the Earth is just swarming with these things, why isn't a meteors taking out these things on a regular basis? They should be petrified at all times that they're going to lose their satellite to the shooting gallery that's supposedly outer space.
These staged events that happen where, something happens, there's a shooting or a bombing, or we know about all these events.
Yeah.
The only way I'll ever believe any of them are real is if my own leg gets blown off. And the only way I'll believe the satellites are real is if one falls on my house. So
there's that.
I'm exaggerating, of course, but that's what it's almost come to. You know what I mean? It's just, no. Our next question is, I'm convinced that we never walked on the moon, but if the moon is inside the firmament, and I believe it is, why is it hard to believe that NASA has at least flown near enough to get pictures and try to figure out what it is? That from Frank Martin.
Oh, I'm sure they've sensed up there looking at it, no question, but they're not going to show us.
They can get up there? How can they get up there?
Well, no, NASA can send a rocket up, to take pictures of whatever.
Right, the ones that come back down. Okay, right.
Yeah, but even
like
if they
a balloon would do as well.
Yeah, or they could take a spy plane and with a telescopic lens, and once they got up there, start zooming in. But those pictures, we don't get to see those. So NASA knows exactly what's going on with the moon, but they're not going to show those to the public because, well, they'd freak them out. Again, think of the lunar wave videos, but much, much better and much, much closer. Imagine, what if you could see the structure behind the moon, or what if you could see through the moon, really see through the moon? What would the public do if they saw that?
There's some really good footage that's coming out, I've noticed on YouTube, from people who have good telescopes or a good camera, like the P900. And let's see, Brian Mullen put out one the other day, and I think he was looking at Sirius, the star, and he's put that on his channel, Balls Out Physics.
Brian we have a
Mullen.
Bitsy sighting.
Oh, hello, Bitsy.
Hey, Bitsy.
You have to talk.
Who? Bitsy? I have to talk. Oh, that's right. I have to talk. Otherwise, the camera won't be on.
I heard her say, kind of. Did she? Or was that my imagination?
Purring.
Beautiful Bitsy.
Yeah.
Bitsy's a shill cat. Aw, that was a shill cat purring.
Yeah. Anyway, well, hopefully she will not be hitting the camera. You be good. Be a good cat.
Somebody said that she was a shill cat. That's a sort of inside joke.
Oh, that cat was trained by the NSA. You do not turn your back on that cat.
My cats aren't shills, though. They might be trolls.
This cat has carried microfiche and secret documents.
Where though? Do you have to dig it out of the litter box?
In the Soviet, not past microfiche. She pooped out computer chips.
I thought it was microfiche.
Fiche?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but if it was fish, she probably would have eaten it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. What was the question?
I don't know. But Frank Martin is saying, about taking pictures of the moon. Would NASA have done it? And I was mentioning Brian Mullen's got something on his channel. That's the star Sirius, and it really looks interesting and cool.
I think I know where he's going.
Forgotten did some good moon footage with a telescope, just on 2 videos that he just put out. A bunch of other people have been taking great pictures lately, and they don't look like what NASA tells us at all.
The point is that NASA, why trust them on anything? And that is because people say, well, I don't believe in the moon mission, but they had to have done the International Space Station, or they had to have done Soyuz or any of the other crap that's going, or the Space Shuttle program. And my argument is, Why would you believe that? Because if you're going to lie about one thing and get away with it, you're going to lie with just about anything. It's the old what was that line from Heat with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino? If you're going to kill one, no, do not hit the camera. Do not hit the camera. Seriously, are she in front of the camera? Get away.
Though.
Get away. Seriously, no. Am I still in frame? Am I still in frame? Okay,
You're
good.
fine.
The line is look, if you're once you murder the first person during the crime, you might as well shoot the rest of them, because the punishment's going to be the same. Whether you're charged with one person or you're charged with 5. So if you're going to fake the moon, why not fake it all? Because once you get caught, you're going down for all of it. Because who's going to believe you anyway? You come back and say, oh yeah, by the way, Soyuz was real. You think anyone's going to buy that? Like, even if it was real, which it's not, you'll be like, your credibility is completely shot.
It's like a cheating spouse, boyfriend, or girlfriend. I mean,
yes.
If you caught them cheating, that probably wasn't the first time. So
exactly. Good, excellent.
Insanity is Sanity says Happy New Year to you too, Rob, because Rob wished him a Happy New Year. And everyone else, let's hope 2016 is our year. Viva Flat Earth. Yes.
Damn straight.
Another question here is, oops, there we go. Is it not likely that the Antarctic Circle has transceivers arranged to send and receive radio transmissions that are bounced off of the firmament, allowing the fiction of satellites to be maintained because they seem to work?
Yeah, very possible. I was sent that question a long time ago by a bunch of people, and that is, once you figured out, because people say, oh, we're bouncing it off the ionosphere, bouncing stuff off the, one of the layers of the atmosphere. Well, what if it was a solid structure? If it was a solid structure and people figured that out, especially the military, you could bounce stuff all over the place much more effectively, because you could get much more. Seriously, you're going to knock my notes off? That's what you're going to do? Oh my God. This is why we don't have cats as producers. All right.
Oh, don't say that, because now someone's going to say, Mark Sargent admitted that he has a producer.
It's a cat. It's a 1-year-old cat. It's my producer. Here, look, I'm going to put the notes over here. They're going to get eaten.
Where were we?
Oh, I'm sorry. Imagine if you could bounce stuff off the firmament. You could do. You could be much more precise, which is part of the reason why I think HARP is so effective, or whatever other weather controlling systems you have, because you have a fixed, solid structure that you can bounce stuff off. Like might as well be throwing a giant tennis ball full of weather. You throw it at that point, it's going to do the same thing every time. You can do some really precise things with it at that point.
And maybe even chemtrails. I'm always wondering what chemtrails are for. Aside
Sure.
from, people say it's poisoning people, which I don't believe, because the elite families would die and or get sick as well. Yeah, maybe they're using that for what we're talking about.
Nerve gas is tricky to use in war because of the weather. Plain and simple. You want to use it in a building, that's one thing. You use it outdoors.
They're poisoning our food supply and vaccines and all of that. But I doubt that the air. None of us really can control that.
Yeah.
Unless you see elites walking around with like masks on, and then you'll know that's what chemtrails are all about.
Agreed.
Flat Earth Head says this, and it's confusing, but I'll read it anyway, and then we'll address it. Happy Flat New Year. I just found out you guys promote that gravity is Earth accelerating upward constantly. This hurts our credit. Please stop.
It's not.
I've never promoted that ever one time in my life.
I don't even know if Eric promotes it.
No, nobody promotes that. I don't think.
Honest, I know he was accused of it. I'm pretty sure he made do not hit the camera. I swear.
That's straight up Flat Earth Society, the original Flat Earth Society. Who says that?
Yeah. The and for those people who don't know what we're talking about, it's oh boy.
Neither is Matt. Neither is Eric. Neither is anybody that I've ever met. Actually,
is there a tail flipping in front of the camera?
Yeah. Didn't we just look the other day when we were talking on Skype about how many people are like the Flat Earth Society page or something like that? Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just staring at her, seeing if she's going to literally just roll on top of the camera. I should get her out of here. The
Flat Earth Society page.
The Flat Earth Society. Yeah, we were talking about the Flat Earth Society page.
How many people like that? Like 80 or something?
Well, the original Flat Earth Society has, and I only know this because I joined as a card-carrying member, which is, when I was doing the research, when
Oh,
I was trying
it's
to.
the Flat Earth Society on Facebook, the real original
Oh,
Flat Earth
on
Society. They
Facebook.
have hardly any likes at all because
Oh, well,
they're nothing, and they've never contacted, as far as I know, any of the big flat earthers. Like Math, I don't think, and
yeah,
asked
yeah.
to do an interview because
No.
they're the ones perpetuating that gravity is Earth accelerating upward thing.
Am
Not anybody who's probably watching this show or on the show.
can you even see me? Am I still in frame?
Yes.
Okay.
She may have to go out.
She may have to go out. Yeah, and you're going to try to do animal tricks later? That's going to be fun.
I'm not doing any animal tricks, but there are wild animals that are
There
going to
are
be doing some
wild
tricks.
animals there. Well, no, the Flat Earth Society has a YouTube channel. You can look this up. The Flat Earth Society has a YouTube channel. It's got like 50 subscribers. And weirdly enough, they stopped doing any activity at all, not just uploading videos, but even liking videos, just about the time the Flat Earth Clues came out. And, it's really, this thing's surging forward and you're not going to jump on this? Where is the Flat Earth Society? Why haven't they just demanded that people, why hasn't anybody done anything in an official capacity with them? Why?
I don't even think they really exist.
They may not.
Let's see.
But I'm a card carrying member, so I know it's out there. I got the plaque.
You actually are a member. You are the only person I've ever known who are a member of the Flat Earth Society. However, I do know that you did it just to do it. You're not a real member. You don't follow their beliefs or codes. You did it just to get the plaque, you said.
Well,
right?
yeah, I applied for the to get the certificate. But I applied for the membership, and then while I was waiting, because it took months for me to get that damn thing, while I was waiting for it, and it only costs like lifetime memberships, like $20. While I was waiting,
what does the money go for? Doing nothing, obviously.
No, I don't think they make a dime off of it.
They don't make videos.
Between the shipping and all the other stuff, it's about a break-even thing.
Mm.
But yeah, they don't really do anything. But while I was there, I realized that they were just chasing people away from the concept, and it didn't make any sense. There were people in there that said, and I know that some of the Flat Earth people in that place go, "Oh, well, they don't represent us." It's like, why don't you ban them? Why don't you kick them out at all times? It doesn't make any sense.
Government controlled. That's what they are, I think. It's in order to throw people off real Flat Earth knowledge.
Yeah, agreed.
Gotta be.
Agreed.
Let's see. We've got another statement here. This is, I think, that Crow 777 is a closet flat earther by some of his recent comments. Just an observation.
You might be.
Yes.
It'd be nice if
we've got Victor Rodriguez saying, "Looking good, guys."
Feeling good.
Also, oops. Flat Earth says Flat Earth Head says, yes, Flat Earth Society is disinfo. If you watch their 1990 documentary, it is dumb. We'll avoid that. Yeah. Thank you, though. CEEDE says, good evening, P and M. I like how my name went first. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the fact that the azimuthal projection is simply a tool and not a usable map. I see it as a tool. Definitely.
I see it
as we continue searching for a working map. Tiger Dan's working on that now, and many others as well.
Yeah. Tiger Dan, I'm really curious to see how that ends up.
If your camera doesn't wind up on the floor.
Am I still in frame?
You're in frame, but I can see her knocking into it.
Yeah.
Yes, Tiger Dan is working on that, and
Tiger Dan is working on other people where they're trying to get a better perspective of how it might look. So we know the overall formation, but as I was trying to tell people, even with the UN flag, which I think was the elite, the authority trying to tell people that we know, they couldn't even show the correct perspective because the people would notice it. So if they drew the flat Earth map exactly how it was, I think people would be looking at it going, where'd you get that perspective from? And then it would draw more attention to it. This is like hiding in plain sight with a few minor adjustments.
All right. Commercial satellite imagery companies, another comment here, can schedule new imagery to be taken anywhere on the planet within a couple of hours. How is that possible? Spy plane?
Yeah, spy planes, modified AWACS, balloons. The balloons would take a little longer to retask, but spy planes can go just about anywhere at about any time. And we've retired apparently none of them. So the U-2 spy plane has never officially been retired. I mean, it has from the mainstream media, the SR-71, the Aurora project, and whatever else they've got going on. So no, you do not tell me that you're at that point you're saying, oh, we've got pictures taken from satellites, therefore satellites must be real. Open up your mind, expand it a little bit. Do not buy what they're feeding you.
Up next from Eliza Sofa Spoons. I love that you're getting Santos Bonacci on, which will be January 5th at 5 p.m. Central, by the way. Is he into flat Earth? Yes, indeed, he is now. It's been a long time since I followed him, but I love him. For both of you, is there going to be a New Year's Eve flat Earth flat extravaganza? I guess this is it.
This is really it. Fireworks.
Best we can do. But
tuxedo wear, or, in this case, high-end waiter. She's dressed like she's going to a premiere of something. Mm-hmm. I can't really match up with that.
Premiere of,
I mean, I could, but I could have saved that outfit for the
what?
For the flatties.
Oh, oops! What?
You
didn't say that, did you?
The award show for Flat Earth coming about the same time as the Oscars. We may or may not be talking about that.
Stop.
All right.
Getting stuff away.
All right. Well, wait, you can't just spring it on people.
Why not? Okay. We have a show coming up in February, and it's called The Flatties, where it's like an award show. Well, it is an award show where we are going to be awarding various flat earthers awards in various categories. So there. Now you know. Yeah. Thanks, Mark.
But there's not going to be nominees.
No nominees, just straight up winners.
It's just like high school. So most gullible, Jane Smith.
That would be Mark Sargent, actually.
It actually would be me, most gullible.
We've got from PAPI3D. Hello, Patricia. I'm curious. I'm interested in your spiritual journey. Where is the flat Earth taking you? Well, prior to March of 2015, I didn't believe in God, and now I do. So I'm taking it from there. And just realizing that everything around me is way different than I thought it was. That's a very surface answer, but you can imagine the depth would take quite some time to get into.
Yeah.
Up next, Eric Blair says that whole flat Earth society form is like 90% ballers. It's horrific. I love the word horrific, but yeah.
Again, it's great that this movement has gotten so far beyond them that even if they came out and said the Flat Earth Society has not recognized the new current movement, no one would care. Like, where were you guys 10 months ago?
I don't even know the name of anybody in that, but I know the name of many flat earthers. So
yeah,
maybe that's because I'm in this and not in that. But
they might as well shut that. Honestly, I think they might as well shut it down.
I wish they would. That would be fantastic because that's just gatekeepers going on there.
Yeah.
Or disinfo. Jason Campbell says, my birthday is in February. Just saying. Actually, so is mine. February 5th. Happy birthday coming up, Jason. Up next, Paul Brooks on Q&A on Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. The Secret Show says, I've never seen a flat Earth model that explains basic concept like the sun disappearing below the horizon or the sun being visible to half the Earth. Is this not a problem? What do you think about that?
This is not a problem. Take your pick. There's been a whole bunch of videos made on the topic. And really all it is, what you have to remember is that in this model, the sun is not a giant, a much, much larger omnidirectional light source. It's more like a spotlight than anything. It just looks like an omnidirectional light source because that's what we're told it is. So that's why it doesn't light up everything at once. And as it travels off into the distance, it's literally going off into the distance. It's not that the Earth is moving, it's that the sun is moving.
Everyone's working on models, varying methods that they see the sun going. So, but we've got.
I like the three-dimensional model that was given to me by Chris Pontius.
Oh yes,
mm-hmm. It wasn't a computer simulation. It was just two lights, one for the sun, one for the moon. They weren't omnidirectional, although they were fairly bright by comparison. And you don't want a mechanical device spinning around a flat Earth model, and it worked very, very well.
Speaking of such, we have a comment from Mr. Moot who says, hello, my two favorite flat earthers. Yay. Happy New Year to both of you. Love you both. P.S. I missed the first part of the show, so I don't know if I missed my ornament. You should hang it from your mic, Patricia. Well,
that's the segue.
Here it is. Yeah. Mr. Moot has made this. I'll show it from far away first. And it looks weird far away, but when you see it up close, you'll understand. And when we were talking about the sun and the moon, this is a window ornament. that he has made and gave me. He's going to be probably selling them at some point. There is the sun and then the moon. I hope I'm able to let people know this. There is Earth, the ice wall, dome, fluffy three-dimensional clouds. And then underneath,
the underworld.
I know, it looks like some weird rotted intestines or teeth.
Cue
Kind of
Morlock and Chud music here. Dun, dun, dun.
But isn't it neat?
Yeah.
This is made by Mr. Moot. So if you want more information about that, check his channel. And he did a really great holiday special too on his channel that I really like. But it's just nice. I could hang it from my microphone. I'll do that right now. Something. Yeah,
See,
it's got enough weight.
If I hung that from anything, it would get batted around and then destroyed.
Right. Okay, there we go. Can you see it? You can't really see it that well, but it's there, and it's the thought that counts. Thank you, Mr. Moot, for sending me that. Let's see. February 4th is Jason Campbell's birthday. I was saying mine was the 5th, so thanks, Jason. CD says, thanks for the reply. What's stopping you guys from discussing the hollow earth? He says, we've gone around in circles on the flat earth and real progress is not being made. You have to admit it's like the elephant in the room, with all due respect, Mark. Well, Mark, was it hollow earth?
I was a hollow earth guy. Okay, let me answer that. First off, when it comes to flat earth, you got to be patient, because the majority of the people of this world still don't know what's going on. So, from what I'm doing, I'm going to keep spreading the word. And I know it seems redundant sometimes because you've heard me in doing a lot of interviews and talking to a lot of people. When it comes to hollow earth, the hollow earth does not conflict with the flat earth. Not in my opinion, because the opening could still be in both places, could be on the outer edge, could be up at the North Pole. Could you put an entire civilization similar to ours or even more advanced underneath us in sort of a hollow earth scenario? Yeah, you bet you still could do it on the flat earth model, because everybody that you know lives underneath 5,000 feet of elevation. 95% of our population, 99% of our population lives below 5,000 feet. So having a cavern or an opening where, you could put a civilization, even if you had as little as 10, 15,000 feet, you could create an entire world down there, similar to ours. I mean, who's to say that we aren't inside a hollow earth already? There you have it.
Wait, would that make us concave?
No,
Okay.
no, because no, because you could still have a domed structure underneath something. I mean,
and it would be flat. Okay.
Yeah, it would still be flat, but it would be it'd be like putting a snow globe underneath it, burying a snow globe, or putting it underwater, or putting it anywhere. So, I mean, this structure technically could be anywhere, if you wanted.
And there could be many of them stacked on top of each other.
Exactly. The concave side.
More such structures.
Yeah. The concave side says that the land just starts curving up around the sides and then goes over the top, which is a little too
over the top.
Yeah, there you go. A little too over the top. So, which is why we don't deal with it.
All right. Next up, this is from JJD. All these serious questions being addressed about flat Earth, and they all are great. But a personal question toward Mark, man to man. Where is Mrs. Sargent? If there is nobody, then why not? Behind a good man is a good woman, and vice versa, right?
Good points. Behind every great man I think the saying is behind every great man is an even a greater woman. It really depends if you're asking a man or a woman. I have never been married. I've never had kids. And yes, I have dated quite a few people over the years, but just never found the one. Plus, I was never a big marriage guy. I thought that the marriage thing was more of a church thing or a state thing. And I didn't think, if you wanted to spend time with somebody, you spend time with them. The marriage thing just didn't. I had very few breakups because of non-committal in that way. Because people knew right off the bat. I mean, I was not shy about telling people. It's like I dated them for 4 years and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm never going to give you a ring." I told them right off the bat. I said, "Look, I'm just not into it." So
interesting. And you did say date people. You didn't say women. So you're going to get a question.
Wow, really? Really, you're going to throw that at me? Seriously?
I'm not throwing it at you. I'm just saying that's going to come up next.
Fine, so I'm holding out for Hugh Jackman, although I don't know if it's recognized even in Australia.
All right. Thank you.
Or George Clooney.
Eddie B83 says Bill Nye said he wants his bow tie back.
Bill Nye wishes he had this bow tie.
Mr. Mooch says
better than
awesome. Sorry.
Bill Nye the Science Lie. Yeah.
Yes.
I wear it way better than him.
Exactly. Mr. Mooch says awesome, because we mentioned the ornament. Those things at the bottom of the flat earth, the underworld, are supposed to be molten lava pillars. So
good enough. Sounds like a cozy place to set up an apartment. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Jim Drecker writes, do you believe the alien/fallen angels may also be perpetuating the globe model? Seems like those who make contact always see or are told of an expansive universe.
Yes. Because if you believe in that, then you believe in the jailbreak scenario, which is whoever the first one, you want to call them the fallen, that's fine. There are other names. But, the other civilizations before ours, I think if you're talking about jailbreak scenario, would want to figure out a way to get out of here. And they would have to rely on the novelty of whatever civilization was there. And you and I, you know where I'm going with this, which is take our civilization, for example. What would we use to get out of here if we tried to break through the firmament? Atomic weapons. That'd be the first part. Well, that didn't work very well. We tried for 4 years. What about this HARP technology using frequencies? That's not bad either. What else you got? You got CERN. Very expensive, very complicated, and looks like it could open a couple doorways. That might work too. Every civilization, I think, has their own problem-solving abilities, and that's why the Fallen would be in their interest to keep this thing going for as long as they can.
All right, fair enough. Paul Mangan says, do you think Richard Branson is a flat earther by now? I'd say he probably knows all about it, but is
maybe
vested in the ball model to admit it.
Yeah, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. It's possible. Could be why he was doing the balloon trips, because the balloon, maybe he knew the weather patterns a little better. I don't know. Maybe
isn't he a tool of the New World Order pretty much?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he knows what's going on. Exactly. Right. Remember, it's only
very wealthy.
Who needs to know? Just because you're rich, just because you're Bill Gates, you think Bill Gates knows? Why tell him? If you're super powerful, and I don't mean money, I mean super high up in the power department. Who do you tell? You don't tell new money. I don't even know if you tell old money. Do you remember of the Rothschilds? No, Bilderberg Group. Maybe take your pick.
All right. Louis writes to Mark. From a gamer's point of view, Microsoft Flight Simulator and X-Plane both use maps with no curvature. Could be close to a real flat Earth map.
Oh yeah. Because games, I don't want to go down this road again, but I'll just for a second. Games, it's easier to program flat than it is curves. When you have to program curves, you have to change everything. When you program on a flat world, it's so very, very easy, which is why most programmers will program on a flat world. It's why, because if the end user isn't going to interact dynamically with the curve, then you don't put it in. Although it's interesting that since all the software is based off of a flat world, kind of is it art imitates life, or does life imitate life?
All right.
There you go.
Donald Duck says, gravity is simple. We are heavier than air. No crazy theories needed. Wait, excuse me. That's from Flat Earth Head.
Okay. And
Donald Duck says, hi, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Yes. Rob Morrill asks, what do y'all think about the Chris Geo expose of Rebecca Roth? Chris Geo from Truth Frequency Radio, where you're on, and Rebecca Roth, formerly on Talk Network, where I do a podcast called Truth is Stranger Than Lies with David Weiss. So what do you think of Chris Geo's expose? Fetzer did it as well, Professor Fetzer, James Fetzer.
I've only heard it secondhand. I have not watched the whole thing.
All right, I'll sum it up for those who don't know. Rebecca Roth, a 9/11 truther who believes there were planes, who said there was that said she was a flight attendant for many, many years, 30 years. I'm just telling this free form right now. Don't take every word I say as the gospel. Has a host whose name is Ramjet, Ramjet, and has written a number of books. They're works of fiction. about, I think something like methodical deception, something along those lines. Anyway, they did some background searches on her and found out that she actually was a whole different person who sold oils, natural healing oils. And the Ramjet guy was a whole different person as well, who was her co-host on a show selling these oils, essential oils. And I don't know whether or not she denied that or what. They supposedly did some traces on her her phone calls or her internet and found out that it could be traced back to Langley, Virginia. She has been let go from Talk Network, the network that I'm on, after they looked into her background and felt that she wasn't a real person, and they couldn't find her real name. And she's now supposedly going to do her own show. I did listen to part of that, like an intro to the new forthcoming show with this guy Ramjet. She revealed what she said was her real name, still provided no photos of her as an airline hostess, nobody stepping forward to confirm that she was. And it just seems strange to me. So I guess I'm glad that the truth has come out when it comes to things like this. Will we ever know the real truth? In these cases, probably never. But anytime somebody in the movement isn't who they say they are, it's great that it comes out. So that's my thoughts on it. You still there?
Patricia's a spy.
I knew you were going to say something like that.
And she's a robot.
You know,
and a vampire and a witch.
No, if I were on, I'm on Talk Network, and if I were any of those things, I'd be gone as well.
Unless you're that good.
Right. But the thing is that David Weiss and I have been sort of teetering on the verge there on Talk Network due to the fact that we are at this point the only flat earthers on there. And Mike Adams, who runs it, didn't really appreciate the whole flat earth thing. So if we ever go, it's not because of that.
Mike Adams lacks vision. If he believes in trends, he's got to look at this thing. I mean,
but he has vision on other areas, and David Weiss has really, really helped him with flat earth stuff. So I believe he's looking into it, which is great. That's really all you can ask of somebody.
He should call me. I would be
looking
more than
into things as opposed to putting up a wall and saying, nah, not interested. I mean, you know.
Sorry, we're closed.
Exactly. Ridgeview writes, there's a saying in the New Age movement where they refer to it as the New Thought movement. I wonder if the new thought is the awareness of a new paradigm with the fact that the world is flat and it's contrary to what we are taught. Makes sense.
Yeah. By the way, did you see the new music video thing that I did?
You know, I had it in my mind to watch it, but I didn't.
You didn't watch it. That's fine.
You didn't make it. You just posted a new video of somebody else's, right?
No, I made it.
You made a music video? Wait.
Well, not with me. No. No.
You should.
No. A listener said, I get people that will send me songs and say, oh, this is a cool little flat earth song or a pseudo flat earth song. And someone sent me one that was by Django.
Mm-hmm.
And you may have to cover for me if the postman is coming this way with a package. We'll find out in a second. Yeah, maybe. Django. They did a song.
I know there's a window on the other side of where you are.
Yes, and you're not supposed to know that
before.
No,
you've shown it before.
Oh, good. Yeah, there you go.
How do you think I know?
I don't know. Yep, and he's coming here. You're gonna have to cover before me talk about something. I'll be right back.
All right, go ahead. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. There goes Mark Sargent. Now, this would be the time when I would be telling you he's a spy and a shill, since he seems to do that so much about me, but I won't because I don't think he is. Let's do some more Q&A. Tinfoil Hatter says, well, as long as the Morgal gets mentioned, then an award show is okay. Of course, the Morgal is going to get mentioned in the award show, which is going to be the Flatty Awards, as we discussed earlier. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, y'all. It's going to be an interesting year, so watch out. Tinfoil Hatter, you are correct. Let's see what other questions I can... Oh, I hear him. I wonder what kind of package that he got. What package did you get? Will you open it live?
No. It's
or is it from one of those kind of companies that, comes wrapped in like a very discreet wrapping? And
what, sex toys? Nice. Seriously?
How did you know that?
No, this is from Terry in Canada. It is a care package.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I get
Can
these
you open it?
from listeners. No, I don't want to open it right now.
Okay.
But I'm sure it's very, very cool. Sorry, I had to sign for it.
Okay. Let's see.
So Django, that was the video.
That's
called
right. I'm like trying to find a good question.
Flat Earth inspired video, and it's a cool little video. And I took their music and put the vocals, subtitled the vocals, and put them into over a time lapse nature footage thing. It was very good.
All right. Mr. Rich B.O.B. writes, I forgot completely about the show. Well, how could you? Every Monday, 5 Central. Oh, well, I'm serious. Glenn Beck, I think I'm going to try cracking at him. What he's trying to say is that he wants to try to get Glenn Beck made aware of Flat Earth. So that's a fantastic idea. Try anybody. If you have a connection or a way, do it.
It's not that, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of closet people that know about this thing already. It's that they don't know how to broach the subject with their listeners. No different than Alex Jones or Joe Rogan or any of those guys. They're afraid that, they'll get some flat Earth followers. They'll be like, yeah, flat Earth. But they're worried about the other side, because they've seen the forums. The forums are so polarized and so brutal that a lot of people out there's famous people that know about this, no question. But they're worried about, that, like anything, I don't want to tie this to coming out of the closet thing, but that's the only thing I can equate it to. And that is closet flat earthers are afraid of the response when they come out of the closet.
That makes complete sense. They're afraid to lose their fan base.
Yeah. So even Glenn Beck, he comes out. What he's afraid, he's not afraid of the people that are going to be on his side. He's afraid of losing friends.
Right.
And I don't blame him.
Right. So the best thing to do is start off in Flat Earth with no friends and no family.
There you go. Isolate yourself pretty much from everybody.
Then start researching Flat Earth. Then become a Flat Earther.
Yeah.
You'll never have a single problem.
No.
Unfortunately, none of us can do that. PAPI3D writes, I checked out the cloning thing. In my opinion, not very credible. I did a show with Jesse Spots talking about cloning. He himself has not been cloned, but he knew some information about people who had claimed that they had been taken unwillingly, their minds anyway, into cloning centers and had been cloned and then ritually used and abused by clones of famous people. So, and it's a big secret. So it's one of my shows on Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. If you're interested, you can check it out. It's a previous episode. I am unsure about it. It sounds crazy, but doesn't everything that we're talking about sound crazy?
Yeah,
sometimes?
We opened with Flat Earth, so
right.
What's crazy in that?
Teresa Gordon writes, is SpaceX, are SpaceX and NASA related? Oh, yes, in a way.
Yeah, absolutely they are. That's a private company, but are they they're tied at the highest levels, and that is if you do a space program, this is what I firmly believe right now, if you do a space program and are persistent and just you're dogged at trying to get this thing going, eventually someone at the higher levels is going to approach you and say, okay, here's the deal. We're going to take over the rockets. Stop thinking about putting a man on anything and just do remote stuff only, and we'll make everything look fine and you'll get a nice fat contract for it. Because they're not doing anything. The rockets are going nowhere. They're going up, but they're not going up, to any sort of space station.
All right. Up next, this one is from Hardened Power. And by the way, we're doing Q&A, so you can sign into Google Plus and then click on a thing that looks like a Rubik's Cube and then write your question. And I'm trying to do as many as I can. Why is it called the Antarctic Circle? Why not the Antarctic Island? Because it's a circle, LOL. By the way, how Hardened Power is my company name, so I'm coming out as a flat earther by asking questions.
Hardened Power, adult film star.
Company? I was going to say, what kind of company is Hardened Power?
Yeah, good point. The ignore the phone, by the way. The the Antarctic Circle or the Arctic Circle. Yeah, but especially the Antarctic Circle. Good point. Good point. You're right. Should be the Antarctic Ring or the outer edge or the outer rim now.
If that's what it is, many assume that it is. We don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Best guess at this point, everyone's trying to scramble to come up with models of how everything works.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm encouraging everybody to do that because that's the only way we're going to solve this.
Agreed.
Up next from Eddie B83, why is there so much rivalry between us non-globalists? We should just be focusing on the facts and evidence. The spherical equation of our supposed 25,000-mile circumference Earth holds no weight. Theorizing is also great, but most want evidence. Indeed, that is true. We want evidence, but there's only so much evidence that we can get. We can't get up there to take a picture of Earth. So
the rivalry is because the idea is still being formed. The details are still being hammered out, and the model is still being built. I know I've used it before, and I'm going to use it again, and that is, if anyone wants to know exactly why this is happening, you have to look no further than Monty Python's movie Life of Brian. The concept is that there, on top of Jesus, there was another guy named Brian that was mistaken for, the Messiah. And he was running around. There were followers chasing him, and he was chased, and he dropped his shoe. One of his shoes fell off when he turned a corner, and everyone stopped and thought that he did it deliberately, and there was significance there. What is he trying to tell us? What is Brian trying to tell us with the shoe? And that is, we should put the shoe on a pedestal and worship it. No, we should collect shoes. No, we should wear one shoe like he did. And there's another woman in the back going, it's the gourd. The gourd is the answer. All because of this one random act. So, and multiply that by a huge amount when you're talking about the flat Earth. And that's why there's camps, because everyone's trying to figure out the details, and nobody, everyone's got conviction. No one wants to be wrong. And, there's going to be some infighting. The enthusiasm is going to be there. And I, for one, welcome it, because the debate in the end is going to be healthy. As this thing keeps growing, eventually we're going to figure out wherever, it's going to hit critical mass, we're going to find out anyway. But until that point, as long as everybody's, moving forward, moving forward down the flat Earth path, they want to keep punching each other in the arm, fine, keep doing it.
I don't want to participate in any of it. I encourage everybody to do your own research, make your own models. Don't make any hard and fast decisions on what you believe yet, and be open to changing, and, work together.
Patricia doesn't want to be punched in the arm. She's skinny.
Yeah, I don't want to be punched in the arm. I bruise really easy too.
I bet, like a banana.
Jordan Rain says, what do you guys think about the miniseries Childhood's End? And you watched it. I did not. I'll let you answer that question and then pad a bit, because I've got to get something from another room. All right?
All right.
All righty.
Don't take too long.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Childhood's End, which I believe was an Arthur C. Clarke book written in the 50s, and it took a long time for it to get made. In fact, Stanley Kubrick, funny you mention, was the guy that was initially supposed to pick it up. He was supposed to do it back in the 70s, or I'm sorry, the 60s, and he couldn't secure the rights for it, so he ended up doing 2001: A Space Odyssey instead, which ended up being an amazing film and best picture of the year. But Childhood's End was a brilliant little sci-fi miniseries that talked about what happens if if you had an alien species come back and they told you, yeah, we're the ones that are running the planet, we're going to fix everything you've done wrong. And like a Twilight Zone episode, though, it's got a mixed blessing, because they waited 15 years. So it was a long movie in terms of scope. They landed, fixed problems for 15 years, then they landed. And I won't spoil it too much, but when they came out and finally revealed themselves, they looked like you couldn't trust them. And that's all I'm going to say. And then it just went from there. So it was really, really, it was an interesting series, very thought-provoking. And that is, what would another species do with us, if they wanted to cure what is wrong with us? And there is a lot wrong with us. Don't be egotistical in that sense.
All right, I'm back, and now time for another aspect of our show. Wild animals for your entertainment.
I can't see this, so I can't even begin to imagine.
Well, I'm hoping that the camera is going to pick up the wild animals for your entertainment purposes. This may be a big fail.
I'm surprised you don't have circus music.
Well, then the wild animal just dropped down. There's one wild animal performing for you here on Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, and the others are not really ready to perform. So, yeah,
nice.
Nothing says Happy New Year 2016 like wild animals performing live.
I've got one, but she really isn't that wild, and that is Bitsy the cat. She is a shill cat trained by the NSA.
So pretty too.
Very dangerous, and
Yours and mine are about the same age.
She killed 3 people just in a staring contest. Yeah, right. Staring
Just to watch them die.
just she killed a man in Vegas just to watch him die. Yep, she is ferocious. Anyway,
So cute.
anyway,
Okay, what do you think about having a holiday toast right about now? Because
sure.
that walking to the bedroom to get the cats out of the bathroom wore me out.
Little piece of cut crystal.
Nice. What's in your? You can't drink yet. I gotta pour mine. I'll put my glasses back on first, though, just so I don't pour it in my computer instead of the glass. My vision's not that bad, but we don't want to take any chances. My drink of choice today is a coffee liqueur made with Silver Patron tequila and 100% agave. It is Patron XO Cafe. And I've had it quite a while, and I've had one little tiny drink out of it. I hardly drink. But I'll have a little bit for a holiday toast. And by the way, this particular alcoholic beverage is vegan. You may not be vegan. I am. Just saying this because I try to mention veganism at least one time per show. If you're curious about
I was
alcohol,
about to say, are there a lot of drinks that aren't vegan?
yes,
And then I was thinking,
a lot of alcohol is filtered. Look how neat the cork is. A lot of alcohol is filtered using fish bladder. So
I did not know that.
yeah, a lot of it. So there's this thing you can look up online to find out if the alcohol is vegan or not. It's a company. Oops, my window ornament is spinning from Mr. Moot. It's called Barnivore. Barnivore, like carnivore, but Barnivore. Maybe that's people who eat barns. I don't know. That's a dumb name. Barnivore.com.
Terrible joke.
Barnivore.com, and it'll tell you whether alcohol is vegan or not. So some beer is vegan, wine, etc.
No,
Some
barnivore
like
is they only eat barn owls.
That's the worst joke. I liked mine better. This is heavy.
Did they eat barns?
It's just more far-fetched. So, okay.
Whatever. Flat Earth. That's far fetched.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I've got mine.
No, I'm not. I'm only drinking. Normally, I drink champagne, and this looks about the same color as champagne, but it's actually
Right.
wine.
I could have opened a bottle of champagne, but it's just me here, and that's just not the best idea.
Champagne doesn't do as much for me as other things, and straight up white wine, that'll do it. Plus, it's in a very nice, festive 150-year-old glass.
Wow. Mine is a very nice festive modern glass, and it's probably only about 2 years old.
Again, shocker, and it probably took you like 2 months to figure out how to buy it.
Exactly which one to buy online. Yeah, I like modern stuff. You like
This
antique stuff.
was inherited to me. So
You say potato, I say potato. And here's to really, all joking aside, here's to everyone who's a part of this growing community of flat earthers.
yeah,
I have contact with such a large amount, and I know more coming every day. And there's been a lot of issues and trouble. And I just hope that we can come together, because we all have to live on this flat plane together. And we're all connected. So let's do this thing. 2016, I officially declare as the year of the flat earther. Cheers.
cheers.
Mine smells so good. This would be good over like some kind of ice cream, vegan ice cream for me. How's yours?
It's fine.
Mm.
I
Mine's
drink
good.
more
It
than
doesn't-
I drink more than you do, though. So
Yeah, well, you're bigger than me. How much do you weigh? That's a
220.
question a woman can ask a man. A man shouldn't ask a woman.
220,
You're tall though, right?
6'2".
Yeah, you've mentioned it before.
Yeah, I've always been 220 though, for whatever reason. I've just never.
Your mom was probably pretty upset when you were born.
That was ow, ow, ow. No,
Might have hurt.
no, no. Do not climb up here. I swear to God, I will kill you. The
No killing Bitsy.
again, the shell cat trying to infiltrate the broadcast. Brah. The
They're playing down here.
No. If I was married, yeah, not to go into domestic stuff too much, but I may have slipped, because there's a lot of people that get married and then let themselves go, and so I never got married. Some people say, "Well, you didn't let yourself go because you're gay." It's like, no, because I'm thinner. I know I kind of look like Shrek, but just because I'm thinner and single doesn't mean I'm gay. But that saying, where you'll hear husbands and wives say that a lot, it's like, "You're not the man I married," or "You're not the woman I married." That's literal most of the time. It's because, yeah, if you gain 40, 50 pounds, you don't look anything like the person you initially went on that blind date with or whatever. So
one of the most important things I think in a relationship is if you can grow together emotionally. Of course, looks and keeping fit is really important. But when let's say, for example, one person figures out the Earth is flat, and then tries to share it with their mate, their spouse, whatever, and that person just puts up the wall, that will create an issue akin to one person packing on a lot of weight or something like that. And I'm not saying that if you pack on a lot of weight, you're a bad person or anything like that. I'm just saying if your spouse is uncomfortable with it and you're uncomfortable with it, it can create relationship issues. Growing together and staying fit for each other.
There you go.
This is the way to go. The way to go.
You should want to look your best for whoever it is, unless you don't care. And if you don't care, then fine. So.
Yeah. Well, you should keep your body fit. You only given one as far as we know.
Yes.
And if you want to use it so that you can use your mind to think and help the world, Yeah. And here I am drinking alcohol. Anybody might say she's poisoning her body.
Everything in moderation, right?
I drink so little that this isn't even moderation. This is like.
Yeah, you're a teetotaler. That's what you are. Teetotaler.
I can drink, like if I went out, I can have a few drinks. It's no problem, but I do it so infrequently.
Thing is, with your body weight, it'd be tough to do anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, you're what, $1.05, $1.10? Yeah.
I can get tipsy pretty easily. And that's not going to happen today.
Cheap date. No, actually it wouldn't, because you would pick a most amazingly expensive alcohol is what you would do.
Probably.
Nothing but top shelf for the queen.
Thank you. All right. Shall we go back to Q&A? Hey, you know what? We've got some emails to read here.
Remember, we also have to do the predictions.
Oh. Predictions? Then emails?
We got 30 minutes to do predictions.
Oh, come on. We're going to go a little over this time, right? Since it's New Year?
Not that much, because I remember what's happening with me later.
You have a date with George Clooney?
Oh, my God. I wish. No.
Look at all these. Look at this. I mean, this is nothing. There's more over there.
No, more over where?
I don't know. I'm saying more over there, and you can't see me because
more what?
I've got a whole bunch of emails here.
I
don't want to let people down.
Yes, I know, but you can always save them.
I know.
We got to do the predictions.
Okay, wait. I'm going to find my predictions. I don't even know where I put them.
You know what's happening, right? I may have a guest that's stopping by that's driving up from California.
Oh, that's right. Is that happening?
Yeah, she's on her way.
And so can we say who and what?
Sure, we can say it. Yeah, it's
all right.
Orphan
Red.
Sparkle Sound. Orphan Red was down in San Francisco recently visiting some family, and she lives in Vancouver, Canada, and driving from there to here actually goes right by here where I am, literally within, it's just 5 miles out off the main road. So she's going to stop by and say hi. So, which is why I can't really go much over.
It seems like that would be fantastic to do a whole show with her right there.
Well, she's gonna shoot something for her channel, and then I'll put it up on mine. But yeah, she's gonna shoot it.
That's really great though, because a lot of people have said you're not real, you're in a studio. I'm not real, I'm in a studio. And I attempted to prove my fourth wall with a mirror last time. To try to deflect some of that criticism, because I've got a microphone and some plugs going here, and it would be pretty harsh to try to take that apart.
Yeah,
I still could do that. It just would be unwieldy. I might do it.
So what do you want to do?
Anyway, it would be great if Orphan Red were there with you in that room, and then people would be able to, add some realism.
I agree, but she'll get to see me, or you'll get to see her and I in the same room, hopefully shortly. So,
fantastic. Are you going to be wearing that? And she'll wonder, like, why is he wearing that?
I don't think I'm going to wear. No, I'm going to take off the tie and the cummerbund, but I'd probably leave the shirt.
All right, let's start with our predictions.
We got to get the predictions. It's the last show.
With number 10?
Well, no, I'm just going through. There's no.
All right,
real...
I'm going to start just because I'm going to start.
Sure.
These are our predictions for 2016, and they involve flat Earth. So, the first prediction it's weird. Oh,
you can pick whatever you want.
The first one is number one, massive international false flag, probably in the United States.
Yes.
We think this is going to happen because there's been so many things pointing to that happening. It hasn't happened yet, but I believe there will be some kind of false flags event happening where people actually die. And this will be, obviously, being a false flag, it will be government created. It's a horrible, depressing thing to think, but look at the news stories that have been happening. Look at all the events that have been happening. Look at all of the time we're told ISIS, ISIS, ISIS. And whatever it is, it's going to be something. I mean, we know who ISIS really is. It's going to be something along those lines. And I'm saying it's probably going to be in the United States because the last thing we had was 9/11, the big one. So,
yeah.
And that was also completely created from the ground up.
Yeah.
False.
We're due for a big one. It's been 14 years since 9/11. You know, you say, oh, Boston bombing, no, big, something really big where the world actually cares. And yeah, we're definitely due.
All right, up next, you're on to number two.
Some disaster. I actually didn't come up with this one. This is Patricia. So she can take credit for it.
We came up with these together. We're just going to read each other's.
We did. We read them in front of the fireplace and had eggnog.
That would be really nice if we did, though.
Yeah.
Next year.
That would have been nice. Some disaster involving the International Space Station. So what the idea there is that we've been hammering, because again, they're dancing to our music. Everything that we are mentioning, they are doing. We talk about that there's no British in space. Oh, how about, you know, the first British guy in space? We talk about, as a matter of fact, I've got to mention this one because it was going to be on my predictions, but it already happened, which was I was going to say that the Orion program was going to be, you know, finished. It was going to shut down.
You said that in the past.
I did.
I've heard you say it.
I've said it on air. I'm going, you cannot do the Orion program. You can't. It's impossible to do because there's too many details, too many production.
To pull off a fake one. It's
you can't.
but you can't pull off.
But you can't even pull off a fake one because you don't want to risk it. And I said, if anyone was actually doing this for a career, they might want to think about just bailing. And I'll be darned if
Russian vids would be on you like you know what on you know what.
Yeah.
And many other YouTubers. If you try to pull off a fake Mars mission.
Exactly. A week ago, the Orion program, the Mars mission for NASA, shut down. Look it up. I'm going to have it on my Strange World, the intro for it, the intro clip, one of the news clips, but you can look it up. It's all over the news, where they came on television and said, oh, yeah, we're shutting down indefinitely because a French geologic device wasn't airtight or something like that. You know, it was some mechanical thing with a French thing. It's like, well, we missed our window, so it's going to be shut down. It's going to be 2 years before we even do anything. Again, it's like, what are you talking about? Why? You know, I knew why they shut down. But yeah, that was one of my.
A guy messaged me, an anti-flat earther, and he was saying, "I look forward when we have space travel for the regular folk. It's going to be happening soon."
Yeah,
keep waiting. Good
fantastic. Let me know. Like the colony on the moon. Yeah, let me know.
Right, like the Jetsons.
Yeah, like the Jetsons. Yeah, let me know. Right. Number 3 is you.
Oh, the hit count on YouTube will break 5 million. We're closing in on it now. What you checked probably before we went on.
We're coming in on 2.6 right now, but that's significant. Only that a couple months ago it was only at 1 million. And so it's growing. The chunks we're ripping off bigger and bigger chunks. So attaining 5 million in 2016, that'll be very, very easily, very easy, unless there is a major event, in which case it'll just go through the roof and you won't even be able to put it.
Well, the massive international false flag, our number 1, that could scrap a lot of what we're about to talk about, and that's a big worry. So
yeah.
All right, that's number 3. Number 4, Mark.
Number 4, several B-list or higher, I could have said C-list or higher, but I don't actually know who C-list actors are. Several B-list or higher celebrities will be active in social media about flat Earth. And I say active instead of being pro or con, because again, it doesn't matter. So if we've got
the rapper B.O.B. already mentioning at least anti-NASA stuff. So that's happening already.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if it's a singer, an actor, comedian, television, movies, it really doesn't matter. If any of them mention flat Earth and mention it in passing, either pro or against, it's going to get some traction. So I'm not saying that, you know, if George Clooney mentions it, you know, how many hits it's going to get, but it'll get a lot because he's very popular.
Yeah, and it would just be you on every computer. Google.
It's terrible. No, he's a cool guy. I am not in love
And
with George
he
Clooney.
looks good in the same thing you're wearing as well. So
He looks good. Period. The guy's great.
He does.
You know what I like about more than anything, though, not to digress too much, is his comedic timing. People see him as, good-looking leading man. No, what I like about him, kind of like the same with Ryan Reynolds, they're funny. Their sense of timing. Watch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? With George Clooney in that thing. He's brilliant. If you can write for his comedic timing, I don't know of any. It's just really, really good. So
I met Ryan Reynolds in person. I'm not a celebrity stalker or interested in meeting celebrities at all.
Oh, hang on. You better pick up that name you just dropped. Hang on.
No, I met him in person, and I'm saying it for a reason. I used to own a clothing store in New Orleans, Louisiana, called A Girl Is a Gun, and Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, I almost forgot her name, came into my clothing store and bought things several different times. And when Blake Lively came in first, blonde young actress, they're now married now and have a child, but at the time they were only either dating or engaged. I didn't know who she was, but I thought, oh, she's pretty. And then when I ran her credit card, I looked at the name, I ran it through the machine, I looked at the name and I thought, Blake Lively, what a pretty name. And then there was this moment as I was handing it back to her when I thought, that's a famous actress. And they're in New Orleans, they film a lot of things there. Green Lantern was filmed there. Many movies are filmed there because the way New Orleans looks, it can be European, it can be almost anything, it can be old or new. So anyway, and they came back several other times and they really love New Orleans. So I did meet Ryan Reynolds. So he was sitting on the couch in my store, and handsome guy, Blake Lively, beautiful woman, super nice, non-show busy. They didn't have handlers with them or drivers. They drove their own rented SUV. They were kind, polite. They were everything you'd ever wish a celebrity would be. And they didn't say they were famous people. The only way I knew is by sight and by looking at the credit card. Sure. And other people shopping in the store didn't know they were them either, or did, and were just totally cool and went about their business, which was fantastic. So
neat.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So there's that. Up next is number 5, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He'll formally say that he will not talk about flat Earth anymore. He's just done with it. He's going to make some kind of statement that that's it. He's not going to address it any further.
Yeah. And he'll do it on camera, which is even worse. Instead of sending a memo out to every producer that he ever could be in contact with, including the network that he's on, National Geographic, he is going to come out, either on CNN or Fox or MSNBC or somewhere, or I think it's just NBC News now, and say that he's not doing it. But in doing so, remember, you're breaking the Fight Club rule, which is you can't not talk about it by talking about it. So, it'll backfire on him.
Up next on our predictions, top 10 for 2016 for the flat Earth, is number 6, Mark.
NASA will announce contact with another life form on Mars. And that's kind of, it could be part of the big false flag. And that is NASA, if they want to really distract people, if they want to convince people that there's outer space, what better way to do it than to mention, because they've been kind of poking around this anyway. There's water here, there could be life here. We're psyching people up. Wouldn't it be great if all of a sudden the rover, drove over a little hill, like the rover's supposed to be working anyway. The battery should have died years ago.
Like the rover's supposed to be there anyway. At all.
Well, you know what I mean? And the rover batteries die, period. Once a battery dies, it dies. And this rover the battery should have died on this thing. I don't care how many times you think you can recharge it. It should have died years ago. And not just a few years either. And they're going to roll it over a hill or something and find, a little city or a spaceship or something. Or
like Close Encounters. Some kind of I don't know, code will come into our computers, they'll say, and
or some little creature is going to be like walking around, and it's going to do one of these where it's like, it'll just
frightening.
It will just show up.
Anybody tell you look like Shrek?
Thanks. No, I never heard that. Why? Because I'm green and big?
cute Shrek you are, though.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, you just have a creature do that. I mean, scare the hell out of people, and it could be me actually wearing a mask for that
Now,
shot.
we are not saying that we believe in alien life forms like this at all. We're just
No,
saying
no,
that
I'm
that's
just
what
saying if you want
NASA
to,
is
yeah,
going to say if they can't go to Mars, they're going to perpetuate to bring in the alien agenda, which I know it's got to be coming because we've been being programmed with it for years.
yeah,
It seems like that now's about the time, since they say they can't go to keep our mind on space. They're going to tell us that they've received contact or photo or
because
video.
if there are aliens, there has to be space, plain and simple.
Exactly.
So anyway, we'll leave it at that.
Up next on our predictions, number 7, there will be a major roundtable with university scientists and leading flat Earth proponents. Exciting.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time now where they've got to wheel somebody out there, even if they don't want to. If they've got to do rock, paper, scissors, and the loser goes, that's what they'll end up doing because science.
Who do you want? Bill Nye, Neil.
I want Bill Nye. I want Neil. I want the head of NASA. I want anybody that's on television because anybody else. Oh, it's the astronauts. What are they going to do? The
one that's doing the year in space. I mean,
that guy. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no way you can put him in front of the camera. He's an astronaut.
No, he'll be great in front of camera because those people have all of that camera experience and meeting with the public and shaking hands. He'll be able to. He won't be able to answer certain questions, but will be able to defer.
Yeah, but if he's under the microscope and he knows what he's up against, he'd be terrified. That's the difference here is that, again, it's the police interrogation thing. And that is, we've all seen it in the police movies where it's like, why do you keep asking me the same question over and over? Year after year, we keep seeing this in interrogation things. And that's because the truth doesn't change. So if I ask you the same story 10 times, it shouldn't change. And he's got to be scared about, like any of the astronauts, about missing a detail. Unless you're rehearsed to the point where you know it absolutely backwards and forwards and can do it in your sleep, you've got to be nervous about doing any sort of roundtable of getting caught, because once it's recorded, it goes out on the internet and people will dissect it frame by frame and they'll catch them. So yeah, I want somebody with a freaking PhD in astrophysics or astronomy, maybe a radio telescope operator, someone from NASA would be good. And I don't care, even if it's an international person, I wouldn't care. It doesn't have to be from JPL, but I would love to see any of them. I mean, again, right. the reason why we did Stanton Friedman was because Neil turned us down flat.
Right. And it was just something that we could do and do now. And he was a nice man, but
Yeah.
That is number 7. And number 8. Mark.
Number 8. Donald Trump reinforces his stance on flat Earth during his campaign bit. Now, you and I vetted this one out, and it doesn't look like it was real. In case anyone wants to look this story up,
a story that said Donald Trump was eating pancakes and saying the Earth might be flat.
It looks like a fake story that Donald Trump was actually talking about flat Earth, kind of like, because he was challenging, he was trying to lean towards the Bible literalist side. Was it a real story? Doubtful. But here's the thing, because the election's a full year away, as this thing moves forward, if this thing keeps trending, that question, as awkward as it is gonna, and sooner or later, you're gonna get some advisor, some Weasley little guy that's gonna say, hey, what's trending? The side you ought to be, talking to is the flat earther. You should be appealing to them. You should mention it like in passing, like, what if the flat Earth was real? How would that affect our life? Spin it any way you want. But I think that a major political candidate, and we all know who it's going to come down to probably, will have to address it. And I think they'll address it on air, maybe, in tongue in cheek, who knows? But I think they'll address it. And if you see it, then we've gotten about as close as we can without the tipping point happening.
All right. Up next on our top 10 2016 Flat Earth New Year predictions is, and this is going to take some explanation, the mainstream will produce a flat Earth antichrist.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
What? Oops, my cat just jumped up on something, so I might have to remove her. The wild animals are on the loose. Can you explain that, Mark? Hold on just 1 minute.
Why, yes, I can, Patricia. The Flat Earth Antichrist. Basically, it was a theory that I had come up with a little while ago.
By the way, it's Greer, just so you could.
Oh, the black cat. How fitting.
Yeah, exactly. That was
Remember,
cue.
Remember, kids, all witches own at least one black cat.
I only have one.
Exactly. And her broom is off camera. She's kind of like the witch from Bewitched, Elizabeth Montgomery.
I am not a witch, but I am going to put the wild animals back in the bedroom with my little thing that they like to chase.
Ritual animal sacrifice.
No. Continue with that.
Right.
Flat
Anyway,
Earth
the Flat Earth Antichrist. Here's the deal. On that, eventually, here's one of two things is going to happen. If the mainstream is going to have to touch this at all, they're going to have to do one of two things. One is they're going to have to pick somebody from the Flat Earth community and sort of groom them into a position where they can actually talk about Flat Earth. Either legitimately or illegitimately, depending on who you're talking to. If they talk to somebody, if someone goes on and talks about Flat Earth and they're totally taking it a different way, then you know what happened. And if this was somebody in the Flat Earth community, or you pick somebody out of your own ranks. So you automatically create somebody with a big backstory, because remember, 90% of the world still doesn't know what the whole Flat Earth thing is about. So you pick somebody, you give them a false backstory, a book they wrote several years ago about the Flat Earth, tell them that they've been researching it for the last 6-7 years, and all this stuff, and went on talk circuits, and it's like, and then they are the spokesperson, somebody that they can control. And so that was the thought, that the mainstream will eventually have to deal with this one way or the other. But that's assuming they don't do a false flag instead. So if they try to embrace it, if they try to get in front of it, like you could even pick. You still there, by the way? She may or may not be. You could even pick Neil deGrasse Tyson and say that, have him address it finally and say, okay, look, I'm dealing with the Flat Earth. Here's why. There's been some problems, and you can make up any plot line you wanted along those lines. Why NASA didn't talk about it, and it was for our own good, or maybe they were threatened by another civilization. Who knows? But you could pick. Neil deGrasse would be the ultimate choice, of course. Bill Nye the Science Guy, maybe even that Japanese guy that bring on to talk about Fukushima every once in a while. But that's who they should produce if they're going to do this, and we'll see. They may or not.
I have returned just in time.
Perfect. To do number 10.
Yes, number 10. Mainstream will try to make a connection, as we discussed earlier in our show, between Flat Earth and terrorism.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes. And the boat thing. Honestly, how hard would it be? You blow up the boat, pretend there's a couple people injured, or may or may not be injured, and then and link it to Flat Earth in some way. And it'd be easy enough to do. You can say, oh yeah, we went to the suspect's home. We found a computer full of ISIS material. We found bomb making equipment, and we found Eric Dubé's book. But the problem there is, again, it's like Fight Club. You can't avoid the topic and still bring it up at the same time. Yeah, you could go the other way and say all flat earthers are nuts and you shouldn't talk about this. But in doing so, you risk the chance of exposing people who had never heard the term before to first be introduced to it. And that's risky, very risky. So they don't want to do it, in my opinion.
All right. That concludes our top 10 list of predictions for 2016. I'm excited, though. I believe this is the year of the flat earther, and that we should say that. We should make it a meme. Sure. This is the year of the flat earther. So please go ahead and do it when you do your New Year's stuff. When you write on Facebook or Twitter or a card. I don't think people give New Year's cards. Whatever. Any way it comes up in conversation. The year of the flat earther. I mean, it is the year of the flat earther. Yeah. Many of us woke up to flat earth in February, March. I mean, it was a first wave, and then forward. I was March, and you were before that, and many are still waking up right now as we speak. But it's 2015 when we really started growing, and more are to come. But 2016 is when we're all on board. We're kind of understanding what needs to be done. People are making these maps. People are discussing what the structure of the land we live on is, and just attempting to try to figure it out. So this is going to be the year. I don't think this year is just going to be like any other year. I mean, hey, 2015 wasn't like any other year. But there's going to be things happening faster and faster and faster. Look, we've seen it with NASA. They're coming up with stuff right and left. It's at an amazing speed in order to keep up with us. As I say, they're dancing to our tune. So exciting, exciting.
Agreed. And if they threw in the towel on the Mars project, then what are they going to replace it with? What are you going to use to convince people that it's a globe? Whatever it is, it's going to be big.
I believe it's got to be some kind of alien thing that they'll say.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'd do.
All right. So let's see. Well, we've got a couple more Q&A questions I just want to get to, and then we've got our ball drop, and then we've got the end of our show.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. I'm sorry.
Q&A. Letters.
Okay.
We get letters.
Exactly. And I wasn't able to get to any of my emails because
they'll keep. They're not like milk.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They're not like soy milk.
Right.
Actually,
soy milk keeps quite long, actually.
Well, there you go.
Okay, here's one. In 1999, I went to Brisbane, Australia. I photographed the moon in the daylight and noticed it was different than what I see here in Maine. Is it the distance of the two land masses in relation to the position of the moon? Please give us your thought.
Could be, or it could be instanced by that the realization of an object in programming. You could do it either way. If you got the heart, a lot of people still try to go down the physical side of things, and that is it's got to be the exact same object, and you can't do any display issues that are different from region to region, and you can. It's tough to explain though to people because we try to think in our technology. Think about what Hollywood can do now, then apply it to the moon. That's my answer.
All right. Flat Earth Head, who earlier in the program said that you and I were discussing that the Earth rises up, which we never have and never will, says, hey, I'm sorry for the accusation. I was told this during an interview I did on Flat Earth this weekend. So I watched a lot of your old shows. I hadn't found it yet, so I came straight to you. That is wonderful, and I'm glad you did. Anytime anybody has a question about anything that I say or anything Mark says, just come to the source and ask us, and we'll let you know. Because I misspeak, and I know Mark does, and I do mean well and try to do my best to make sense. Sometimes I don't, just like everyone else. So if you think I've said something, ask me, and if I did, I'll correct it if I'm wrong. And if I didn't say it, I'm sure going to say, no way I said that. So,
Flurbity tractor.
Yeah, that's what he said. All right. That concludes yet another fabulous show.
Wait, did you drop the ball?
Not yet.
Did I miss it?
When you drop the ball, is there a countdown?
We could just do 3, 1. Well, usually it's from a long ways. But
you do the countdown.
All right.
And
we'll
I
count down
will get the ball ready.
Okay.
So all ready. I know this is sort of rigged, but hey,
All right. So, and by the way, do not look at the globe and say, oh, they're promoting the globe. No.
Globe? We haven't shown it yet.
Oh, right.
Giving it away.
Yeah, we got to tell them because it's like, no, we're saying goodbye to the globe one last time. Like next year, if we're doing this next year, we're not dropping the globe. We're going to drop some sort of spinning. We'll probably drop a bigger version of Mr. Moot's thing.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. All right, let's have the countdown for moving on into 2016.
Ready? Yes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Happy New Year. And there it goes.
Wait, I could turn up the fireworks sounds, I suppose.
Yeah. Woo, dropping the ball.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Here.
That was kind of dumb, but fun.
Now you got fireworks sounds in the background.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Well, you look fantastic. You're going to be probably meeting up with Orphan Red later today. She'll be filming an episode for her channel, and that'll be fun. And happy 2016, Mark.
Happy 2016, Patricia.
And to all, happy 2016, Flat Earthers. I love you. And I really mean that. Keep it flat.